I'll record on this computer. All right.
Okay.
Well, welcome everyone. Let's hope that a couple more people join us, but welcome and to begin our memorial for Wipa. Constance, can you please introduce Jerome again for our friends that just joined?
Well, maybe I'll let Jerome introduce himself. Jerome,
Good idea.
Please go ahead.
There's not much to say, basically. As you know, we were together 16 years, and yeah, I think everything is being said. So I think that's. Thank you.
Well, but just for those who just joined, Jerome is Wipa's husband. How long were you married, Jerome? If you could just, because not everyone knows you.
Married, we were until last year, 11 years. But we are a couple since 16 years. We got to know each other in 2003 in England.
Yes, when Wipa was doing her PhD in Newcastle.
Exactly. I think Lillian may remember.
Yes.
I think you visited her there.
Yes, our visit coincided when you guys had started, had just gotten together. Yes, I remember that very well.
Yeah, I remember we went camping together. That's when I met you, Jerome.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I only remember Kathy's wedding, yes. And Wipa mentioned, I think she went with you for New Year or something like that in London. Or
yes, we went to London and then we met Sonia and Simon.
Yes, yes, that was lovely.
Yeah, I remember that well. It was so good.
It was.
Yeah.
I remember Wipa and Simon walking around London together. Yeah.
Must have been like
It is such a lovely picture. Yeah.
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 It was really nice.
Yeah. Oh, Simon's
So
coming.
how did the reunion going yesterday? I hope it was a lot of fun.
It's been wonderful to reconnect for sure. Yes.
Excellent.
Okay. So what we've done is I have a couple of slides to go through a few of to have an account of Wipa's accomplishment, and then we're going to play the video that's were prepared, and I think quite a few of you have seen. And after that, we'll open for us to share what we feel we want to share about Wipa. Is that okay? So I'll share my screen briefly, just for a few quick slides. So our darling Wipa was born on May 27, 1972. And as you all know, she went to Pearson College with us. But she also she stayed on or came back to Canada again for her studies. She went to Trent. She had a master's. She also did a master's in Japan, and then she did a PhD in the UK, which is where Constance, Jerome, and I coincided at some point together. As you can see, Wipa also joined quite a few of our weddings. I don't know if how many, I don't know if anyone's keeping track of how many weddings we all go to, but Wipa was there for, this is Kathy's wedding in the picture, but she was also there for Liwa's wedding. And she was also there for Luis Bueno and Stella's wedding. Luis and Stella, had a very quick wedding in City Hall, and Wipa was there. So, not that anyone's keeping track, but she was definitely part of very special moments in our lives. Oh God, sorry, I'm not even sharing, right? As I should. No,
Okay.
that's
Yes,
better. That's better, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is Luis and Stella for year 17 and onwards. And there's Constance and Manu too. Okay, and Jerome and Wipa. And this is Wipa's mom, and this is our dear Tita, who also passed away this year, and who we also remember with a lot of love. Okay, so Wipa had a lot of fun. She was very silly, but she was also a very serious professional. And these are some of the things she did. She was an expert on trade, food security, sustainable agriculture, and women's livelihood. While she was she did a lot of studies abroad, but she went back to Thailand to work. And she worked for the Solidarity Center, an NGO set up by the American Trade Union in support of workers' rights. She worked for the International Institute for Trade and Development in Bangkok, and she was a program officer at the European Union delegation in Thailand as well. And well, Wipa is survived by her mother, her brother, and her husband, and us, her family and friends around the globe, who miss her dearly as well. Oh boy. I'm sorry, I didn't know I was gonna get this emotional.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna play the video now, and then we can open the floor for us to talk about
Sure.
Wipa. Okay, so this is the video that Zoor prepared last year. Last year actually.
Last year. Yeah.
Yeah. She prepared this from screenshots of photos that we were sharing in a group. So Wipa, Wipa brought a few of us together quite a in the time just before the pandemic. We were worried about her health. Many of you, I think probably everyone in this call, contributed to the GoFundMe that we set up to support Jerome as he supported Wipa. And so these photos are not high resolution because they're screenshots from screenshots, but Zoor's daughter did this lovely video, and it just makes sense for us to share now. Give me 1 second because I need to share my audio, because otherwise you're not going to get the sound. Okay. Now I can share, hopefully with good audio. So that's what we had prepared, but we now would like to hear from you. Some of us have had a few chances to express how we feel about all this, but not everyone has. So please go ahead.
I'll go first because I have to leave in a few minutes, but I just wanted to say the video is so beautiful. And
I remember her as just being such a caring and loving person and so silly. Like I remember her humor. This is the funniest thing, but when I think of Wipa, I think of her joking around and saying lambada naked. I don't know where that came from. I know we were joking around about something and she just was joking about lambada naked and she'd have this like funny move, and that's my favorite memory of her. So thank you for putting this together.
Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah, I remember, I mean, so many memories, but the one that comes to my mind right now, I was living in France for my PhD, and Wipa came to Stockholm. And, you know, of course, I was in the south of France, it's not nearby, but Wipa said, Constance, I'm going to Europe, can you come see me? And I said, okay, where are you going to? And luckily there was a flight actually from Marseille to Stockholm. So I bought the ticket. She had a place to stay. I couldn't, she wanted me to stay in her hotel, but like in her room, you know? And I said, Wipa, we cannot do that. And then she got in touch with people she knew there from Trent, and so that I could stay at their place, so that we could be together. And we spent a few days together. I think it was about like 3 or 4 days. And then we traveled to Denmark. We took a night bus to go to Copenhagen and back. I mean, those crazy things like, and that's just how she was like, you know, taking the opportunities to be together and yeah, to put people together and so on, you know.
So we remember Vipa. I love her sense of adventure and all of the places that she would spontaneously go to and travel to. And we were lucky, right? We got to see her in London. And then we got to see her again in New York with Jerome and with Vipa's mum. And we had a lot of fun in New York. I remember Vipa's mum so well. She was wonderful. We had a language barrier, but great love and warmth with her mum. And I have a particular memory towards the end of the visit when Jerome, you and Vipa and her mum cooked us this delicious,
amazing meal.
delicious food in our apartment. And Izzy, our daughter, was very small at the time, but she loved Vipa's mum. So we used to call her Thai Granny. And so, yeah, we have really good memories of Vipa and her traveling all around the US. She went off for another big adventure, like a big road trip, just going and seeing people and doing things. And then, coming back and just having a lot of fun. So such lovely memories of her.
I don't want to take up too much time, but I also have a memory like that. Wipa came to Guatemala while I was, she came to visit while I was doing my dissertation. So it was a perfect time because I had a 4x4 and no set schedule, right? Except that I had to collect my data whenever. And so when she was here, we took a road trip in Guatemala. I took her to as many places as I could. And one of those places is up in the north, which is it's a long way driving. My family, I had family there, so we went and we stayed with my family. And this is where the Mayan ruins are. So I hope that most of you have heard of Tikal, for example, which is one of the crown jewels of the Mayan civilization, and it's in Guatemala. So she went there, and then the next day we took a trip on my 4x4 to another more remote archaeological site. And so, we're there and walking through, and then we're told that since we have a 4x4, we can make it to an even more remote archaeological site. So we get on the car and we go and we arrive there, and there's an archaeological dig going on. And, so we're taken around the site by a student who, volunteered to show us around. And And she's like, well, these are the places you can go, and please stay away from wherever you see, yellow tape or something, because that's where the archaeologists are working. And so, we're done with the tour, and we say thank you, goodbye. And, I'm ready to leave. And Wipa sees there's a pyramid and there's a tunnel, and there's clearly yellow tape in front of it. And Wipa's like, let's go there. And I'm like, no, Wipa, we can't. That's where the archaeologists are working. There's yellow tape. She just goes. And I'm stuck either, waiting outside or following her. So thank goodness I followed her. And so we went into one of the tunnels where the archaeologists were working. And there were three, not archaeologists, but the local people that help dig, so they have the actual job of removing the stuff. And so these three young men were more than happy to welcome us and tell us what they were doing. And Wipa was fascinated. And I've been to so many archaeological digs in Guatemala, no places. I even dated an archaeologist for a while, and I had never been that close and that connected with that important work for my country. And it was thanks to her. So yes, that lovely adventurous spirit was very much appreciated.
In the adventurous with adventurous stories, she came to Mexico once. I was not here because I don't know, I think it was the summer, and I was working I was still in Canada, but she stayed with my family, and she had a blast, and she went to different towns, and my mom took her around. She had language barriers with my mom because my mom doesn't speak English, but they managed to communicate very well. My mom doesn't seem to remember not being able to talk to Wipa, and that's really funny because she doesn't speak English at all. And then one time they went to a museum, and the guy in the ticket booth, he was counting like the number of people that were gonna like for the tickets, and they thought she was under 13 years old because she was so tiny. Ticket. And I was like, why? And she said, well, yeah, you've got a kid. And that was little Wipa. And that was very sweet. And I mean, we took funny. So yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to travel around with her here, but my family really enjoyed her visiting. And since I have the microphone here, Jerome, I'm really happy to see you here. It's been very special to be close to you during all this time, and I'm very thankful because you were very good at making it easy for us to be close to Wipa in the year before she left, and that was very special. I think that brought us all together in a very special way. And you were a very important part of that. So I thank you for that, and you're a friend, and you know that well, you're part of the group because you've learned so much about us like during the years, and you had a chance to meet some people in person, some you didn't, but thank you very much.
I don't have any adventures to share about Wipa, unfortunately. I didn't get to see Wipa after Pearson, but I do remember Wipa very well from our Pearson days. The one thing I remember is her smile, and I think that's probably anyone would remember her smile. It was unique. It was it could light up a room, and her kindness and her beautiful personality, I think, beamed right through it. So even though I don't have any other stories, I'm just cherish that memory, and I'm glad to be here to hear your stories and adventures with her.
Yeah, one of she used to hang out a lot with the Latinos, and well, the Latinos, we touch and hug, and we're more touching than other cultures. And at the beginning, it was a little bit of a shock for her, because her culture, like, people don't touch that much and hug. And if I remember correctly, she used to tell me that women didn't hug like friends. And for me, that was so weird. Those kind of things that you start finding out when you arrive at prison. But it didn't take her long to love hugging. So that was one thing she adopted very quickly. So and it was really, she was someone like very easy to love, and it was really nice to hug her. So in the video, there is a picture. I'm hugging her in the 10-year reunion, and I remember that dearly because she really liked it.
It's so nice to be with everyone and share these memories. We had the great fun of visiting Wipa in Thailand, just with our South African camping equipment, our tents, our sleeping bags, our hiking boots, our camp stove, backpack covers, all completely unnecessary. Wipa had a hearty laugh when she saw all equipment, instructed us to leave it with her, and sent us off to have an adventure like she would have, and really helped us understand how to travel and get the most out of it. And I'm sure that our trip was so different because we had her guidance, and we just had so much fun together and so many good memories. I'm so grateful for her strength and kindness to us. I just remember coming back and seeing all that unnecessary camping equipment that we had taken, and she had kindly stored for us. I don't know what we were thinking, but she had something quite different in mind, and she helped us much. We miss her. We loved all our times together and how she got the best out of life and the best out of every day.
Yes, she had so much energy. It was amazing. And I mean, just because I got again, yeah, while I was in York, actually, so Newcastle was quite close. I think about an hour by train, and I did come visit quite a few times, and that was quite important for me. It was so nice to be there or to talk to her if it was on the phone. It was comforting, because I was going in the beginning through a hard period, and it was really good, just to come there, visit, like have some, just comfortable time talking, in the room, sharing things. It was really like family, in a way. It was really, really nice. And I remember sometimes I would say things like, Wipa, do you remember at Pearson? And then she'd say, remember? No, I have no memory. Like, she'd make fun of the way, I don't know if it was her disease already, but Yeah, sometimes she'd complain she was forgetting things, although I do forget quite a few things too. So could be just age as well. It was such a nice, as Kirti said, you know, the sun that, the smile that, you know, was like a sunshine. It was really comforting and warming.
Do you have any memories at your house, like for those who were like in her house?
We have a few of those. I don't know who else is here from East House, but my favorite picture of all times is in the girls' bathroom at the college in the girls' bathroom in East House. And let me see if I can find it very quickly for you. But it's a wonderful shot in my. I took it, of course. So I think it's a great shot. But it shows how much energy and vibrancy we had as a group. But to answer Sonia's questions, her roommates were Judith, who is here with us on her second year. Judith, Devlina, and Rachel were her roommates on her second year. And on her first year, it was Lucy Barnard, Wipa, and I forget who else. Lucy had 3 first years. Maybe Jacinta, maybe, well, I don't know. No, first year, Jacinta and Indrani, Jacinta and Clara were roommates on the first year, but Lucy Barnard was her first year roommate.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Thank
and
you.
Then, yes.
This is my failing memory as well.
We had a treasure hunt. We actually had not a treasure hunt, but we went through an investigative reporting, no, investigative quest a few months ago because, well, many of you in our year, I don't know, in many years, contributed to a memorial donation for Wipa for the college. And we had room 9 in East House named after in her memory. So there's a little plaque now by room 9 on East House in her memory. And we had to, rebuild the map, the roommates map for that. And that's how I know a little bit more. Yeah, it's lovely. Yes, it was a lovely tribute. Yeah. And Lucy was the one that finally helped. Well, actually, it was Lucy said, I don't remember. It was either 8 or 9, but it had to be 9 because room 10 was so loud. And I was in room 10. And I know that room 10 was loud because it was the party place, right? That's where, that's the room where lots of parties happened. So I wasn't part of those parties, but yeah, lots of parties happened.
But Wipa, in her first year, she used to stay quite a lot in Calgary House. It was Pam's room.
Pam's room.
She'd come, that's where I would meet her very often. She used to come and stay there, and you could hear, it was just the room next to mine, so I could hear some pie and laughs. Yeah. It was fun.
Yeah. Carla actually proposed that we really shouldn't name room 9, that we should name room 5, I think. It's the room
I
where
can't remember the number in Calgary, but yeah, her room.
her room. Yeah, it's true. That's exactly what Carla said, that it really shouldn't be room 9. It should be Calgary room 5, I think. Yeah.
During project week, we were together in Vancouver. And I mean, we were poor students. We wanted to do things, but we didn't have money to do all the things we wanted. And we were thinking of dancing in the street and, you know, putting like asking for money. We ended up not doing it, but we had a lot of fun. And then we went to shops and we couldn't buy anything, but we were trying hats. And I know those are the kind of things I wouldn't have the initiative to do. So I'm pretty sure it was her. And trying hats, and we have the hats with the price tags. And then we had dinner at a Mexican restaurant, and we were singing and wearing a hat. I'm going to try to find the picture. I think that picture is in the video, but it was always so much fun. And I'm pretty sure she was the one having the crazy ideas.
I'm also looking for my picture, which many of you have seen it. It made it into the log, and we've used it. I've used it a couple of times when it comes to remembering Wipa, because it's such a vibrant picture. But there's plenty of happy pictures, you know, when it came to Wipa. Preparing for the slideshow, I didn't want to use only my pictures, you know. So I went into Wipa's Facebook, and there are just so many. And maybe that's what I should do instead of sharing my picture, is share Wipa's Facebook. And if you look, here's lots of different fun, wonderful pictures. And someone made a comment about how Wipa brought people together and connected. And this guy here is someone she met through me when she was visiting. This is us. I love this picture of us. And this guy is, you know, he's not even that close a friend, but we went on a trip together, in one of these trips that we took Wipa in. And we had a blast. They became friends. And so this is Wipa and Chalin years later in the US. You know, she stayed in touch. She connected with him, and they met on. And this is Wipa in Bangkok hosting a friend of mine from Indiana. He was on starting a trip, and I was like, "Oh, I know someone in Thailand." I know, but they went out. They had a blast. He contributed to Wipa's GoFundMe because he remembered her with affection. And Wipa and Liwa, you know, with Hannah, Liwa's baby. And this is
Liwa came to visit Wipa quite a few times in Thailand over the last years. Like, she was a lot in touch with her. And sometimes I remember, like, she would host calls so that we could also talk to Wipa, you know, and that was really nice. That was one way we could keep in touch in the past few years. In the past years, like, it's really nice.
Yeah, that's Sung, Liwa's husband, Jerome Wipa, in Singapore. Yeah. Huh. Now I can't get out of here. Something's happening. Weird. Well, anyway, I can. Oh, there's Liwa.
That's how it works. Oh, maybe if you close it again, it's just slow, probably. And so you, if you close it again, Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't. I was trying to close, but I couldn't. So
Yeah, maybe if you just do it again.
I also remember with that so many times we hang out at Tita's place together, and her Thai food, and that was also very nice.
Oh, I remember once she cooked Thai food for me. She said, "Oh, I'm preparing it for you," and it looked delicious. It was like chicken with coconut and a lot of flavors. And unfortunately, the first time I put the spoon in my mouth, it burned my mouth. So I couldn't really eat it. It was so spicy. She loved spicy food.
Yeah, my first experience with Thai food was with her. I loved it. I think Thai food is one of my favorite ones.
But it's okay, you're Mexican, you can eat spicy.
Yes, yes.
Hi, everybody. This is Patty. Hi, Jerome. Nice to meet you. I've never had a chance to talk to you.
Hello.
Vipa was something else in my life. She was so positive, and I don't ever remember her seeing stressed out. Even during the IB, she took economics, and she was just always smiling and laughing. And I don't know if she hid her stress or but she managed it very, very well. I also remember, like Gavi said, going out to Victoria. And I remember one Christmas, we had not even $10. We went to a Goodwill store and we bought gifts for everybody. And we came back and wrapped them. And it was just so fun to be around her, and I'm so glad I got to meet her, and I saw her at the 10-year reunion too, where we stayed at Tita's, and it was just, it's amazing. I'm grateful for just at least had met her and enjoyed 2 years with her, and then a little bit more in our reunion. After that, I didn't have a chance to see her or even connect with her. It's like, those things you will always regret. And thank you, everybody.
I think many of us, I mean, sometimes I forget details. Carla was saying yesterday that Lillian is the one that remembers like all the details about things. I don't remember sometimes many details about people, but I don't need to remember many stories. I just remember she was just incredibly special and someone I loved so much, and I felt loved by her. So I think that's what makes her very special for me, even if I don't have like tons of stories to tell.
Louise, we haven't connected with you for 31 years. Would you like to take some time to either remember her or connect with us?
Actually, I do remember her. I am just amazed for all the work that you are saying about her. Like, you can tell that she was a very caring person, and that she lived a really nice life. I do remember back in the days in Pearson, we got the trip that Ed got organized to cross Canada. And I do remember that we were, I guess, only boys, and she was the only girl in the trip. And mostly Latinos. She said, well, she was going there and with few English, we were like, you were my translator at that time, my interpreter at that time. So my English was little because we got Christmas only 3 months at the college. But we did this amazing trip. We went to, our guy was Edgar, and Edgar organized everything, tickets and everything. And we went through like Calgary, Edmonton, we stopped in Winnipeg at Chat House. Then we went to Montreal. So Toronto was a really, really vast and long trip. And she was always smiling as always. She was always happy, trying to understand our Spanish sometimes. And I do remember her closely that trip and the big smile always in her face. So yeah, she was a special person. Everybody has said that, and for sure she was. And well, now it's like, well, we have to follow that example, you know, that be cheerful all the time, trying to bring people together. As she follow the rules of the United World Colleges, you know, understand each other, try to meet each other. She was a truly UWCers, you know. And yeah, I am glad I've been lost 31 years, you're right. I spoke to maybe Mauricio sometime, Constance once, went to my house in Venezuela.
Yeah.
I spoke.
Actually, it is our best memory of Venezuela is staying with you, Luis. It was really nice.
I remember my dog stealing your chocolate from your bags, you know. I don't know if you remember that. And my dog went into your bag and opened your zipper, and I don't know, he found a chocolate in there. And now, well, just too many things happening in Venezuela. Now, not living there anymore. Living in Indianapolis, guys. Well, I missed the reunion because I am here stuck because I am still working on my papers. So in the meantime, I cannot get out of the US. So that's why I missed the reunion last time in DC. Always follow you from maybe from far, looking into photos and looking in Facebook. But well, as all have you shared, it's a beautiful experience to have the opportunity to meet Wipa. And yeah, I have her face, her smiling face in my head right now.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if it was that trip that you went to Mexico City as well, or maybe not, because it just made me think, you know. So, or maybe when she went to visit Gabby's family, I know she was telling me about the trip, and there is this thing about I think it's Montezuma. How do you call it? Is Gabby? Oh, Gabby left. Oh no, Gabby, you were there. How do you call it in Mexico when you drink the water? It's like Montezuma.
Montezuma's revenge.
Yeah.
Revenge. Yeah. And she had it, right? It's when you drink water, and then, well, let's say you stay in the bathroom for a while, and then Wipa was telling me, you know, and at some point I stopped her. I said, okay, Wipa, I don't need to know what happened. She was like, you're laughing so hard because she said, well, but you're my friend. You have to listen to me. I said, no, I can imagine on my own. It's okay, Wipa.
I should have asked my mom because my mom has great memory and she remembers, like when she's met my friends, she always remembers details. I'm going to ask her because she must have many more stories, and probably if that happened when she was at her place or with her, she would remember very well. I'm going to ask her.
Yeah.
Hi, Yuko. Would you like to share a little bit?
Yeah, sorry, I joined. I just joined. I didn't get the password right. You know, there are two kinds.
Oh.
I kept on doing one word, and it came to my mind. God, it's not one word in Zoom. Okay, so I you know, we were not in the same house. I was not like Vipa's everyday contact, but I have this one very fond memory, you know, by which I remember her like really, really fondly. You know, whenever I think about Wipa, I remember this memory, which is my birthday was coming up in November, and I didn't even know that she knew my birthday. And to this day, I don't know how she found out. And for some reason, I think she lent me a white one piece, you know, white dress. And you know how we were in PC, everybody is dressing all the time very casually. And when you dress up and people will ask you, hey, what's the day today? Like, why are you dressed up today? What's the occasion? So and I didn't suspect anything. She just lent me one white dress. It was not mine, but I have this picture of me in white dress, and then all around me were like 7 or 8 or 10 women dressed in like tuxedo kind of, you know, black and white, you know, white blouse, shirt inside, and then jacket and trousers like in black. So what happened was like Vipa had this planned for me, and so she got me in a white dress. I really didn't suspect anything. We went to the cafeteria, and then there were all these like female friends dressed as men. So she put me in the middle and then took a picture. And like this picture, I don't know if I still have it, but I definitely have it in my mind because it's like imprinted, you know, in your memory. And like someone who thinks of, you know, little fun things like that and try to surprise a friend. I'm sure she's done a lot of amazing things to her very, very close friends. But even for me, like I always liked her, but I didn't have this day-to-day contact. You know, you have your you like many people, but not everybody is close to you. You know, you just don't have that have the time or opportunity. So she was one of those people that I always liked, but I didn't get to spend that much time with. But I have this very fond memory, and this really showed me the kind of person she was. You know, she would always think of you, think of others, and like go out of her ways to arrange something and surprise you. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with everyone. I don't know if everybody was involved in this surprise that she organized for me.
Thank you. Thank you, Yuko. Muge, you wanted to share something, right?
Oh, yes. Let me see. Hi. Um, I remember mostly. I mean, this has been really nice because again, I wasn't in East Asia either, but I was one of those people who probably visited the parties, you know. But also, Marta and JJ, were they her roommates? Because I used to visit that room and I used to see her there a lot. I think.
That was the room.
I
Martha,
think
JJ,
because I
Luke.
remember her, like the three of us, and it was kind of nice because it was all sort of we were first years,
Yeah.
and she was really lovely. Like she was just, I thought of her a little bit mischievous. I don't know, like because she would be like that with the girls, because Marta was more reserved. But you know, we like people would sort of bring out a little bit more, you know, mischievousness in her too, and us. And I also remember everybody was saying, yeah, you know, she had this lovely smile. We remember. But do you also remember whenever she would agree to something or she was just about to do something, she had this flicker of her head, like she would do something like this, and off she would go, like just like, you know, I remember that really, really vividly. about her, just sort of like smiling and talking, and I should just sort of do this sort of flicker of her head, like as if she was just lounging in the action. And I thought it was just fitted with that energetic personality really nicely. Just a beautiful soul. It's hard not to remember her in all of us. Like, even though, like all of you, my memories are fading, the details too, but some people, you just remember them like they were just imprinted. So thank you for this. It's been nice to hear this from all of you.
Liwa Chan, would you like to say something?
For me, there are just so many memories that I don't know where to start. But as to her things that she used to say, I always liked her. Oi, is that how you say it? I can't imitate her intonation. There's a little bit more. Oi.
It's when you make her angry, like Louise that used to pretend to talk Thai, and she was like, "Oi."
So yeah, one of the memories at Pearson was when we used to I think I said this many times in different chats and so on. She used to receive a package from home from her mom in Bangkok, and she'll get her favorite durian dodol, which is a durian that's made into a concentrated paste. This is the first time I ever encountered durian. And yeah, then she would share it with anybody who's around, and we will climb on top of the common room roof. I think if you come from the side road from the library to the cafeteria, I think there's a way to get up. I can't remember how. Leticia is nodding, so you've done it too. So we used to sit there, and I think once Wipa even brought a pillow, and then we'll just sit there, and then we'll just eat, get a spoon, and then eat the durian dodol. So that was one of the very nice memories. Yeah, I have of her. I also was fortunate to see her a few times in Bangkok. Yeah, they're just yeah, so many things. I really don't know. I still, for this past yeah, since she's been gone, I still had once in a while, I didn't realize how often I was thinking of her before that, because something that I hear some news about Bangkok, then I'll immediately think of her. So I hadn't been able to write to her normally for the past few years or so. It was an effort for her to write back a text. But 2000, it will be 19, I think. Was it 19 or 18? Yeah, it's no. It's actually as early as 16. I went, yes. I was going to see her every year for the New Year, English New Year's. I happened to be able to be there. So 1 or 2 years that she wasn't there because she was in Germany with Jerome, or when I was maybe in Japan, I didn't go and see her. And yeah, there's once she wrote me. She didn't speak as much anymore, but she could write a complete message to me, and I could hear her through the message. So that was Yeah, I still have that message. And it's very, very Wipa. I said a prayer for her, and she said, sorry, it's my daughter who's next to me. Put your feet down. I told her, I said a prayer. Maybe I wrote out the prayer, I can't remember. And she said, thank you, Riwa, for including me in your prayer, which is very personal between you and God. Just the way she put it is, to me, very Wipa. So, yeah. I think, yeah, there's even a lot more to, to share, but I still have conversation with her once in a while in my mind.
And before she passed away, that's when what Lily mentioned, that we were sometimes getting together, Jerome we'd set a time with Jerome, and then we'd talk and should be there. And sometimes, she couldn't see anymore, but should still smile and ask things, like, how are you? And should react, even though she wasn't able to talk much or even to see us, but she was still there and happy, I think, to be with us. And it was really nice that Jerome would set, quite easily make a way that we could find a time, set a time where all the zones could be together, which wasn't always easy. And it was really special. I remember my birthday last year, it was really, really nice because it was the pandemic, the beginning of it was in June. So, just a few months in the pandemic. And for me, that was really a highlight, of the day that made it so special to be talking and to be seeing Wipa and her reactions. I still have pictures of that. And I think when she passed was just so unexpected, although we knew it could happen anytime, but it was just so sudden, And I don't know if Jerome would like to talk, to share. I don't know, Jerome, I appreciate you being here with us. I don't know if you'd like to share anything or to say anything for yourself too.
It's tough at the moment. It's just grievance is just personal, very private process. And no, I'm not able to share anything right now, but it's nice to hear the stories you shared. Some of the stories I knew, a lot of I did not know, and it's very nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me to that chat. But I'm just here to listen.
Yeah, I remember we'd also share music to cheer Wipa up when she was recovering, and talk about her love for horror movies and things like that. It was a nice way to be together, and she was behind it for sure.
Letty or Aura and Human, would you guys like to share?
I just can't.
I'd like to share. Well, it's actually involving Yuko, Ran, Wipa. Because I see them, right? The three teeth, same size, long hair. So I was kind of like in the first weeks, kind of like getting stuff. And I remember when my hair was growing long enough, and we went to the cafeteria, and I kind of like did a headbang, and Wipa was like covering the food. She said, "Man, you don't wash your hair," kind of thing, you know, and we all laughed. And this was, and I remember, and this, I mean, listening to you guys, it jogged my memory because, like what Yuko said, Wipa is one of those guys in Pearson that I shared space time with, who, you know, I really appreciate, and at the same time, not really that close. We didn't share like activities or, you know, our house. But somehow there was one time, this was before Aura and I went out, and I was already in love with Aura, but I hadn't asked her out, right? And we were just talking, and it was like kind of like approaching the second year, right, for permission. So yeah, we didn't, well, it just so happened that we were in Calgary House, day room, and we spoke and we talked the whole night. And I was like agonizing. I was brought up in a conservative Malay Muslim family. So you study, you don't think about women until you graduate, start work, take care of the parents, and then, you know, you think about being with somebody. So I was one of those things that I spoke to Wipa about. I didn't tell Wipa it was about Aura, that was the girl that I had in my mind, right? I was just talking to her, and she was there the whole night. So we were just talking, and when the sun rose, I brought her to the low ropes obstacle course that Steve Manson had built. And we hadn't slept the whole night, right? And we were just talking. And then I took her around, and you know, and I was just, yeah, again, the adventurous spirit, right? Lack of sleep, she didn't hesitate to just jump on it for the first time. Yeah, it was at that point in time where I think for me, it kind of like crystallized that, you know what, I'm going to ask Aura out, you know, sooner or later. There will be a point in time where before all these other guys get her, like, you know, she was hot, right? She still is. And then just kind of like, okay, go for it. Here we are. Yeah.
So maybe I just want to say thank you to Jerome, you know, because I know Jerome has been going through a lot throughout the years, and still grieving, of course, and Jerome is still in Bangkok with a lot of things to do, and so yeah, it's Jerome. I wanted to say thank you, and I think that Wipa is watching over you too, you know, from above. Yeah, so for me, just to share my memory of Wipa, I think it's quite different from you guys. Not sure. I always thought of her as a very serious Thai. Whenever we had conversations, it was never about, you know, the blue sky, the red rose. It was always about injustices, inequalities, poverty, conflicts, migrant workers, so on. It's like I would be like, come on, Wipa, there's got to be good things in this world to talk about, you know. These are the things I remember about her, and but again, that's where, you know, her UWC spirit is just so strong, and it really showed in what she did and how she approached the world. And yeah, she would always, my Thai nickname is Bang, right? So she calls me Bang, not Aura. So she was like, Bang, how can you not? I was like, okay, yeah, I know, let's save the world, you know, slowly. We can't do everything at once. But these are the things that, yeah, for me, she'll always be the senior that I look up to. Thanks.
It's
Would
interesting.
any,
Laura. Oh, sorry, Constance.
go ahead, Liwa. No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Thank you. I was just following up on what Aura said, because that also reminded me of the conflict that we felt with internally, being Asian, being in Pearson. It kind of touched upon being raised in certain ways and being thrown into Western values. And Wipa had so much more, even more than I did, I feel. And Aura is right. I knew that side of her as well. Since she was very soft-spoken, I did not come into direct conflict with her on some things. But yeah, I remember once or twice we probably did on differing opinions, because she really held on to her own belief. You know, something she believed in, although she was very soft-spoken and very thoughtful, but she had very strong values in herself. And she was also very filial towards her family. So I think I don't remember the details now, but I think there were conflicts within her that if she chose this path, that would not be good for the family, or that it won't make her mom proud. But that's what she really wants to do from the bottom of her heart, you know? And yeah, I could identify with that. But I think she really felt it even more. And I try to imagine the very conventional background that she might come from. So in some ways, she was so free-spirited. At the same time, she had this, she was living with some kind of contradiction all the time, just like all of us. But in her case, with her culture and her personality, I think she really wanted to be internally consistent. She could not allow herself not to be, and that's what made her struggle even more. Yeah. So she achieved a lot. I mean, after she went to the graduate school and she started writing as a journalist, I was amazed with the quality of her work. But even then, she still was so humble. She thought that, no, I do not write nearly as well as my friends. That's what she would say. But her writing was perfect, and it was enjoyable to read, and there was so much message in it. And I was so amazed. Wow, you know, because we've known each other since 16. When we first arrived on campus, we did not speak English. So like we all have grown up. That was the feeling I had. Sorry, Constance. Do you want to share?
No, sorry, I was just gonna ask if like Letty or Judith would like to share something too.
Judith wrote in the chat that she was a little too emotional to speak, so she was here to listen, but we definitely can.
I mean, I'm not close. I wasn't close as you were, guys, because, well, I mean, it's just as the college was, but I was in touch with her because, first of all, she was in Calgary, as you say, all the time. So we saw each other all the time too. So, and it's because she was a special soul. That's why I think, and it's the way that I feel. And as Yuko said, you know, when you have pictures in your mind about the college, maybe you don't remember so many people, or maybe you remember like somebody that you never talked to because of, I don't know why. But Wipa, it was somebody like you always saw her. I mean, she was walking through the campus and you always wanted to say hi, and she was smiling, and I don't know, she was really kind with you. And I'm sure that I don't remember things with her now, but I have that feeling that Wipa was somebody that, I don't know, I remember her. And as Riwa said, I remember sometime, I don't know when, they were there on the roof. I know that because I remember that. I don't know why. I don't know why. Don't ask me, because I was always walking through the campus. I love walking through the campus. Maybe I did it too much. I had to study and I didn't care. I didn't want to share things with people, and I don't know, to be around. But the thing is, Wipa was one of that person that I remember really like so sweet and special creature. I mean, and I remember her smile. It's something that, and the way that she just talked to you, she was so sweet. I don't know. It was Wipa. It was Wipa. That's it. So you are really lucky. You could, I don't know, have more of her than maybe I had. But it's and I know now that I'm hearing you and these stories, there are things that I didn't know about her. For example, the things that we were saying that she was struggling with this, what to do with her own world and the family and all the stuff. I didn't know that, because sometimes, you know, something that we should think about, because maybe her soul is thinking somewhere, you should think about it. It's just everybody has this kind of struggling too. We struggle with that too. And so maybe we have to think how she tried to face that. I don't know, maybe she gave us a lot of to think about, to learn about her, because she has this spirit, and she I don't know, as you talk, guys, I feel like she was that kind of people that no everybody could be. I mean, I wish I could, because she has this willing to do things and to share with people, you know. I think, I don't know, that's my experience and what I feel about Wipa, right? I don't know. So, but I think you should, I don't know, when somebody passed away, I have some people that passed away this year, and that the thing that I try to do is just to keep in mind the happy moments and that I can learn from that person, you know. And sometimes we should be happy, you know. Don't just remember that, because sometimes I feel guilty when I start to feel sad, because maybe it's the best thing that could happen to somebody, you know. Maybe it's, I don't know, they give us a lot and we have to keep going and treasure that, I think. So I don't know.
Can I share something else? I just remember that I shared with Wipa a lot about my family and her family. And I remember her telling me what like the family business was about, and the struggles of like the financial struggles, and my family was going through financial struggles as well, and they were related to the financial situations in our countries, which somehow were similar, you know, like even though we came from different countries, but they were similar. And that was something we shared a lot over the years. And I think that was a conversation that kept on for a long time. And it was very interesting that even though we were from different countries, like, but so many things were so similar as when it came to our relationship with our parents, and the way we cared and worried about like the well-being of the family. And yeah, I don't know. I'll have to go now, but it was lovely to see you all. And well, our Wipa always in our heart, and Jerome the same. Espérame. Okay, so bye-bye.
Right.
Bye, Gabby. I think that was
Bye, everybody. Nice to meet you again, Jerome. Thank you, Lillian. Thank you, everybody, for organizing this and making it happen in the memory of our Vipa. And hugs and kisses to everybody, and hope to see you soon.
Yes. Thank you, Patty.
Bye,
so
my
nice
friends.
to reconnect with you, Patty.
Absolutely. Like, this is what this is the like half regret, half happy feeling that I have, that I'm so glad I'm here, but I'm sad I miss so much.
Well, you're here now. Let's keep in touch.
Yes.
Yeah. Ciao,
Bye, my
Patty.
friends.
Bye.
It was so good to see everybody. And I remember Vita's first year roommate was JJ. I cannot remember that. So for what it's worth. Bye, my friends.
Bye, Patty.
Bye, Patty.
Yeah, catching up on what Leticia said, I mean, of course, we all have our different ways of being in touch with people we love, and our own beliefs as well, right? Some of us believe in God, or I don't know, spirits or whatever. I don't, unfortunately, I don't have like this kind of faith, but I do feel thankful, you know, like for the opportunities we have, like, you know, for meeting, for sharing, and yeah, it was difficult, you know, to lose Wipa, and even through her disease, it was difficult too, because of course it limits some of, you know, the exchange you can have, but the love is still there, right? And yeah, this year we also lost Tita, which was also difficult, but I do feel thankful, you know, for all that's being shared, and even, you know, some experiences that were not as happy, but we learn a lot, you know, from each other. And I agree with you, Letty. It's, I guess that's how I try. I mean, of course, I feel sad too, but I try to focus on the nice things, you know, that were there, the nice moments or meaningful moments that we had together. I think that's a way that helps me pull through. Being limited on faith, or, you know, this kind of things. And I'd like to thank you all for being here, and for Jerome also. I understand how hard it is, Jerome. And I really appreciate everything, you know, like it's been really important for us. the support you gave her. I think in many ways you sacrifice. I don't mean like that you didn't think of yourself. You did whatever you thought would be the best for Wipa in very difficult conditions that we know of, and you always try to, like you always gave importance to these moments that we could be together, like our meetings and everything. That was really important, and thank you again.
Yes, thank you very much, Jerome. You allowed us to be as close as we could to her, and you made a point of making space for us, and that was something we treasured enormously. And like Constance said, you really loved her completely, right? And and you did what you had to do for her. And what better gift or what better situation for your loved ones to be in. So that comforted us a lot.
Thanks a lot.
And she'll continue living through us, I think.
Well, we've been here for an hour and a half. I think that perhaps it's hard to say goodbye at some point. But I don't know if we should just close.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you very much
Thank you
for allowing us to meet in this space.
Yeah.
It's been really nice.
Thank you so much for organizing.
Yes.
You, Lillian.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And let's go do something fun and happy and full of joy today for her.
Go together. I'm meeting in the cafeteria. Or on the roof, I don't know.
On the roof.
Is there a way to get to the common room roof? I don't think they
Yeah. We have to request to make one if there isn't one.
Yeah, I'm sure that with all the liability issues, they found a way to put it,
Even virtually, you cannot do that.
Yeah, but let's do something full of joy and light and happiness today in her honor.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
You guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.